Hello, Internet. Well, I think I found a good spot where I can be outside, but out of the sun, which is my new requirement for this summer of 2024. If you've been following along, you know what I'm talking about. Because of my cancer treatment, I am not able to be in the sun at all, even on a cloudy day, because those UV rays come through and really mess me up. So I'm figuring out ways to try to enjoy the summer and try to be outside a little bit, but shield and shelter myself from getting in trouble with the sun, as I did in the first month of my treatment. Yeah, I'm on 2 different cancer drugs. One is called capecitabine, and it is in pill form, and I take 7 days on and 7 days off, and I'm now into I think it's the 4th cycle of that. And then I also have my infusion, which goes into it goes into my hand. I always point to my elbow, but that's not where they put it. This last time it was into my hand. But anyway, it's called panitumumab, and it is an anti-cancer antibody drug that targets the cells in my body and breaks through the cell barriers and hopefully is destroying the traces of cancer that are in my body. And I just had my 3rd infusion yesterday. I will have one more in 2 weeks. So the initial plan was to do 4 of these infusions and 4 to 5 of these cycles of the capecitabine pill. So I'm well on my way, crossing into the latter parts of this. In fact, as far as what's on the calendar and on the schedule right now, Monday the 15th, I will have my last infusion, and that will also be my final week of the pills. So, and when I say final, it just means according to what my care team, my oncology care team has scheduled for me right now. The news that I learned yesterday, I was down in Rochester for that infusion, and I also met with nurse practitioner of my oncologist, and it looks like they're going to try to get a CT scan scheduled for me in 2 weeks from now, which is going to be roughly around the 15th of July. It may be a day after that, but anyway, at some point the beginning of that week, they're going to do the CT scan to basically take a look at what's happening and see if these drugs have been tearing the cancer apart, which is of course what we want it to be happening. I think I mentioned on my last video, and maybe even the one before that, I had a little mass in my central abdomen, which I had been noticing, and it had been growing and had gotten up to maybe about 1.5 centimeters, like kind of the size of a big kidney bean or a big peanut. But over the course of the last several weeks, I have noticed that little mass has been shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and now I can't feel it at all. And that has now been a couple of weeks. I think maybe even in my last video I mentioned that it had been disappearing. So that's good news. And they tell me, again, my nurse practitioner yesterday told me that if that particular mass has been shrinking, then most likely everything else is as well, because my cancer is of the same genetic makeup, the same DNA, no matter where it has been metastasizing around my body. It is still colon cancer, and it's a KRAS variable. It's not a mutation. It is sort of a generic, they call it the KRAS mutation, which I guess it is a mutation, but it's a certain type of cancer that is very common. And even though it is spread beyond my colon, whenever it pops up, whether it's in my lungs or in my abdomen, somewhere in my peritoneal cavity, wherever it is, it's still the same variation of that colon cancer. So, in other words, if the drug is working, it's working for all. At least that's what we think right now. So the news, we're hoping that we get good news from the CT scans in a couple of weeks, and we'll show that not only has this little mass in my central abdomen shrunk, but all the other concerning areas of development and growth are shrinking as well. So that's good news. Also, you may be able to tell from this that my skin condition is not as bad as it has been. And that again is because I'm learning what to do. I'm learning what creams and lotions to apply. I'm learning how to treat it. I'm learning how much sun I can handle, which is basically none at all. So when I go out, I've been wearing big floppy hats, and I have a windbreaker that covers my arms and even my hands, because you can see here, this is what's left over from before, both of my hands. But it's looking much, much better. My chest is in better shape. You can see on my neck, I still have some stuff. But I think, and even on my scalp, there's some kind of scabby looking things left over from the previous treatments. So I'm feeling better. You know, I still have blisters on my feet, so it really is literally from the top of my head to the soles of my feet that I have had reactions, skin reactions. But things are much better than they were a couple of weeks ago, and I am so grateful for that. And again, part of it is because I'm learning what I should do and how to treat these skin conditions and how to stay enough out of the sun that it's not being exacerbated by those UV rays. So maybe that's about all I have for you right now. I just wanted to kind of give you an update because, again, a lot of you I know check in regularly. I'm still gaining weight, and I wish I could stop gaining weight because I'm now above my heaviest of my entire life by a couple of pounds. So I need to cut back. You know, this last year or so, the whole thing has been to try to gain weight and to try to, you know, stay healthy because I was in such bad shape a year and a half ago. And now it's like turning the Titanic, where I'm trying to not ingest so many calories. So I'm trying to focus on proteins and, you know, healthy fats, and cut down on the sugars and the carbs, which I have been letting myself ingest. So anyway, you guys, I'm doing pretty well, and I will, of course, try to keep you updated as things move along. Again, the next thing is going to be 2 weeks from now, when I will have my final infusion, at least of this particular cycle. We'll get a CT scan, and we will look at what's going on, and we will reevaluate and see what the rest of the summer looks like. So that's what I got for you. Thank you again, all of you, for your prayers, your notes, your messages, your emails, your texts, your cards, your gifts, the things that you guys send my way. I really appreciate it so much, and much love to all of you. And we'll have more when there is more to share. Thanks.